calm, centrist, elegant leader who remains the longest-serving mayor ever of his city should be remembered only for a political theory named after him is a shame. What would be of greater interest to Tom Bradley of the Bradley Effect 10 years and 15 days after his passing was whether or not there still might be a Bradley Effect, or if there ever was one, or if 3 weeks from today another African-American politician named Barack Obama may in fact encounter something called the reverse Bradley Effect. Our third story in the countdown, the pop political science theory coined for the act of deceiving a pollster, specifically when a black candidate is on the ticket. Again, those new numbers from tonight's New York Times CBS News poll showing the Obama-Biden ticket with a 14-point lead over McCain-Palin. In 1982, Democrat Tom Bradley, an African-American then mayor of L.A., ran for governor of California. Pre-vote polling, even exit polling, had him leading his white opponent, the Republican George Deukmejian, by a wide margin on Election Day. He lost. The conventional wisdom that voters had lied on their way out of the booth so they would not be seen as racist. As far as Obama goes, there was some suggestion there might have been a Bradley-like effect in the New Hampshire primary, except the poll numbers for Obama there were very accurate. It was the ones for Hillary Clinton, which had been underestimated. Let's turn now to Professor Melissa Harris Lacewell, Associate Professor of Politics and African American Studies at Princeton University and the author of Barbershops, Bibles, and BET, Everyday Talk and Black Political Thought. Professor, thanks for your time tonight.
Absolutely. Nice to be here.
You know this stuff backwards and forwards, the theory of the Bradley effect. Do you believe it's more than just a theory? And if it does exist, can it exist at a national level?
Sure. I mean, there are white voters who, particularly when asked a question by an African-American pollster or by someone who they think might be an African-American pollster, that, they might say they're going to vote for a black candidate when, in fact, they won't. The question is whether or not there is a big enough percentage of white voters doing this in enough states that it can make an actual difference in a presidential election. This is the first time we've tested it at the national scale.
The Obama supporters who are worried about this possibility, they think he needs an extra wide lead in states, particularly with lower African-American populations. Is that the right distilling of this theory, and can you address that concern?
No, actually, I think they've got to thread the needle a little bit here. So generally, when we think about the Bradley effect, we say that an African-American candidate needs to be up by about 5 points to actually be dead even. But the problem is, if a candidate is up by 12 or 14 points, then some of his white supporters who are maybe willing to vote for a black candidate but not enthusiastic about it might say, you know what, I'm just going to sit this one out. It looks like this guy's going to win anyway. So it can induce what looks like a Bradley effect. In other words, the African-American candidate underperforming because the race isn't close enough. So what you want is a comfortable enough lead to know that you're at least even, but you want it to be close enough that people feel enthusiastic and motivated to get out to the polls.
Could those who say this whole concept is real and those who say it's not real, it may have been a spot phenomenon, could everybody be right? Because it was not the evidence from the 5 biggest statewide 2006 races to which this was applicable. Didn't they show the Harold Ford case and the other ones no Bradley effect? I mean, might we have grown out of it?
Well, I certainly hope that as a country we have grown out of a problem where an African-American candidate will, simply because of his or her race, perform less well in an election. But the question is whether or not we've grown out of sort of people feeling like it's a good idea to tell folks that they're not racist. I'm not necessarily interested in us outgrowing a socially desirable effect on that. On the other hand, there's no question that Obama has not, either in the primaries or in his previous runs in the U.S. Senate or in the state Senate. There's been no Bradley effect for Barack Obama, not in any consistent fashion.
And lastly, a reverse Bradley effect. I knew Tom Bradley. He would have laughed out loud at the very name of that. What is that, and does it really exist?
Well, there is some new data, some new polling out of the University of Washington that suggests that some white voters might in fact be claiming that they're going to vote for John McCain when in fact they're harboring a secret desire to vote for Barack Obama. I'm not sure about that, but it does seem clear that from that Washington data that white voters who live in states that have large black populations are more likely to vote for Obama. That's good news for Virginia and North Carolina.
Melissa Harris Lacewell of Princeton University. It's been very informative. Thank you greatly for your time tonight.
Great. Thanks.